Good morning and welcome to another edition of Searching the Heart. It has been 4 exciting editions of the topic of the pessimistic view of human life and happiness, and we focused on Rodin's thinker, the ideas behind the Rodin's thinker. And then for about 3 different episodes, we looked at the great gamble theory. Of course, one of those we focused on the lesser gamble theory, focusing now on humanity itself. Though we know that Christ, the biblical Christ, is the very symbol and epitome of humanity, and yet he is a person that is limited to the Christian worldview. And also, he is the God-man, or he is God in the Christian worldview. Although his identity has gained popularity in other religions also, maybe the Hindus, and in Islam he has a role which we discuss, and others seem to appreciate his personality. And of course, even in this time, we find that a lot of people can resonate with his salvific acts, but lesser, not really in the full Christian sense. And we were able to look at that briefly. And today also we will look at that again and consider another topic, the incredible human potential, as part of the lesser gamble theory. The incredible human potential. Now, the problem with briefly, let me just look at the problem with the current worldview, popular worldview, as relates to Jesus Christ. I touched on it when I was talking about necromancy. And a lot of people tend to resonate with Jesus Christ in the light of necromancy. They see his sacrifice on the cross as a universal thing, something that they can relate to. Of course, there are practices of sacrifice in Buddhism, in Hinduism, and in other religions, African traditional religion. And of course, they tend to see the acts of Jesus Christ in this light. And of course, I was able to discuss during that episode about the real significance of Jesus Christ's death and resurrection, and that he is the only person who is able to take up this role. And from the biblical point of view, the foundation has already been laid that no human being can do this. And this started from Abraham himself. And Abraham, we know, is the father of the 3 most popular religions in the world, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And already that foundation has been laid that human sacrifice is prohibited. And of course, the only person who can take this role is Jesus Christ himself, being he God and the Son of God. And of course, the Islamic view is different, but that is the foundation of it. So we must understand from this worldview, and we must understand that the current views of propitiation or sacrifice as relates to Jesus Christ follow the path of human sacrifice, and in that case are non-Christian and cannot benefit from the Christian salvation. And worthy of note is the allusion to the miraculous. In these days of postmodernism, of course, where though science is very popular, tends to be rather unpopular with the poor, of course, because of their disadvantaged position. We discovered that a lot of people would want to allude to Jesus Christ's sacrifice, to religion, to the miraculous, okay, but not knowing the full implications of what this means. And so many people want to identify with miracles. Okay, and in the Christian church we have experienced this very large, very great extent in the past 15 to 20 years. It has always been a phenomenon that people who suddenly come into the Christian faith suddenly feel that they can begin to, use the Holy Spirit, as it were, without any proper foundation or teaching in this respect. And if we look at the Bible, we will know that, of course, Jesus denounced this, and the apostles denounced it. There was a man who was a popular magician who came and he wanted to buy the Holy Spirit with money. And these are the things we still see up to today. People want to use clairvoyance to get money. People want to use their spiritual sight as a source of money, to make money. And it is an ancient thing. But you have to understand first who Jesus Christ is and what he stood for. And you would then understand that that is not the case in Christianity. No matter the popular prosperity teachers or preachers that you see on the television. So this is where I want to start from, and I want to talk about the incredible human potential. Now, the incredible human potential is from this book. The topic, the incredible human, written by Herbert W. Armstrong. Okay. Of course, there are many views among evangelicals and so many others of who Herbert W. Armstrong is, but when you read this book, you will get a better view of it, and I have read it. And of course, this book is Herbert Armstrong's way of understanding the Bible. The view, the worldview, the lens through which he sees the Bible. And I want to use this lens today to talk about the Great Gamble Theory. In the same light, the view of human life and happiness. He talks a lot about this in this book. And that is what the Bible is for. That is what the coming of Jesus Christ is all about. You have to see the coming of Jesus Christ in the light of the view of human life and happiness. Is it pessimistic or is it optimistic? And of course, the Great Gamble Theory will come to light in this respect. And Herbert W. Armstrong really does a very good job in this very book here. And his views are very, very similar to that of Herschel H. Hobbes, who wrote the Cosmic Drama. Okay, the Cosmic Drama is just an exegesis, as it were, of the book of Revelations, and of course, an exposition of the book of Revelations. And these are views that, of course, a bit different from what Herbert Armstrong talks about, but very similar here in the book of Revelations, because the book of Revelations is very important if you want to understand the destiny of human beings. And these books are very wonderful books. The two of these, I recommend them. And so today I've chosen this topic, the incredible human potential, for this very episode of Searching the Heart. So we will continue with that in a moment.
Discover a transformative journey into the kingdom of heaven. Following the initial publication, the author dives deeper with two insightful follow-up books. Ever felt disconnected from God even in worship? Explore how God's unconventional ways can transform your life. How can you align with divine plans, avoiding distractions? Find answers in The Kingdom of Heaven on Earth and The 3, Illuminating Christian Truths and Prophetic Practices. Unlock profound insights guiding you toward a deeper connection with God. Don't miss out. Dive into this enlightening exploration today. Click the link on the caption to get your copy.
Okay, the incredible human potential. What is the incredible human potential? It is the potential of human beings. What is our destiny is the question, is the answer to the question. What is our destiny? What really dwells or lives in us that we expect to get at the end of time? Each human being is quite a minute piece in this bigger picture of humanity itself. And of course we live just a few years on the earth. Very few can get up to 120 years of age. Most of us die at about 80, 90, most about 70 something years of age. And when you look at that, you may not be able to see what the incredible human potential is all about. And yet, the incredible human potential is something you can only see from the view of books like the Bible. Okay? The Bible is the source of the narrative of a greater humanity, a greater destiny for humanity. And people like Herbert Armstrong have brought out that out. Hobbes just talks about, of course, the book of Revelations. But Armstrong was able to really trace the story from the book of Genesis right to Revelation and bring out a very clear view of what the incredible human potential is about. Theologians will call this a biblical theology. Okay? So biblical theology. There are very few biblical theologies. But Armstrong is one of those who has his own biblical theology, at least as the founder of a church. Okay? And so, but we all Christians must have a biblical theology. And anybody in this world should have a view of what he believes human life is all about. Okay? And mostly, this makes more sense in the collective rather than at the individual level. Because as the individual, of course, you may be able to appreciate this as an individual, but it makes very little sense to others. And so you have to explain it in the way that others will understand it. Okay? And that is why Jesus Christ is pivotal to this. And he is able, he came and did something drastic. He showed a lot of power, according to the biblical history. Miraculous power. And then he died. He allowed himself to be killed. And there was a purported miraculous resurrection. So it opens the inquirer's mind to ask the question, what is going on? And of course the explanation is clearly given by the apostles. This is God sending an emissary to talk to his creation. You might not believe in this, but what do you believe? What do you believe? In this episode, I would want us to look a little deeper into the incredible human potential. And this is, as different from the pessimistic view of human life and happiness, is an optimistic view. And this is written by Herbert W. Armstrong, a person who has been vilified for being a leader of a cult, during his lifetime. But he is one of many people, of a few people I might say, that has brought out a very optimistic view of human life and happiness. Okay? More than just dying and going to heaven as it were, that is popularly espoused by many Christians. Okay? He has able to expand that. He has been able to expand that to really help the ordinary reader of the Bible to really see it from another perspective. The incredible human potential. Why are we here? It is the answer to the question, why are human beings on the earth? Okay? Why are human beings on the earth? And this potential is saying that God has put us here on earth to create a civilization that will last for eternity. A civilization that will outlast our physical lives. Okay? And this is not going to happen in some heaven somewhere, but it's going to begin here on earth. Okay? It's meant to begin here on earth. And of course, resonating with the biblical prophecy of the book of Revelations that said Jesus himself will return and he will accomplish that together with us. And of course, this has physical ramifications, not just spiritual ramifications. As of course, like I've said, going to heaven. No, it has physical ramifications. That means the kingdom of heaven will be established here on earth. And that is what Armstrong, the foundation that Armstrong laid. Okay, that some of us are building on. And there are many other Christians doing the same thing. But before we can really achieve this properly, we must understand that there are many other participants in this very venture. In previous episodes, I have talked about this. Okay? So today we will continue like from the last episode to see the role of human government, whether on the individual level or on the at the national level. Okay, the role of human government. Okay, and from there we will look at those ideas that we must look at. Human government is meant to bring the people together, and it's an ancient thing. Okay, when we look at it, it started from people like Nimrod. Nimrod is a historical person, recorded in the Bible. Okay, he was said to be a great hunter. In those days, being a great hunter was the best profession anybody could be involved in, because the most immediate threat to human beings were wild animals, lions, the residue of whatever dinosaur-like creatures, like massive alligators and crocodiles, massive hippopotamuses, elephants, that remained after the dinosaur extinction. Okay, some of those things are described. Of course, some people think they are myths in the Bible, but they are described in the Bible. Okay, so being a great hunter was the greatest profession, and Nimrod was one of the first of those hunters, and he was able to lead the people into a civilization called the civilization of Babel. That was the first civilization that tried to create a united a united world order, as it were. And of course, we know that that world order failed because, like I have said, the Bible says their languages were confused. The sense of unity was lost. But one of the reasons I believe is because their engineering was not really developed to the point that it should be, and they naturally lost their cohesion because, of course, they could not achieve what they said they wanted to achieve. They wanted to build a tower to reach heaven, because that was an impossible feat. Okay, but the Bible says, of course, God changed their language. That's another way of looking at it. Okay, so that was the first human civilization, united human civilization. That gave birth to different civilizations, like the Egyptian civilization. Okay, the Babylonian civilization remained. The Egyptian civilization formed. Later on, that gave birth to the Ethiopian civilization. Then the Mediterranean civilizations came in, and so on and so forth. Okay, and on and on and on. Once in a while, one human being will come out and say, I need to civilize the rest of the people. Okay, he will come out and he will begin to think years ahead of the others, and he will begin to feel like he wants to bring people together. Of course, mostly it was achieved in those days through war, but some had philosophy on their side, and that is how human civilization grew and grew and grew. And it took not less than 3,000 years for the first technologically advanced civilization to form. And this was the beginning, was the Roman Empire. And this was the creation of road transport. The Roman Empire was known for the creation of road transport. Okay? And they used all the tools of the ancient Egyptian empire and other Babylonian Empire and all that. The same tools were used. But they brought out this one new invention. The road. Of course, what was this road used for? Harnessing silk. Okay, it was called the Silk Road. Okay, harnessing silk, clothing, something as simple as clothing. And so that began a new civilization for human beings. This was the beginning of the maturity of human civilization. And at that very critical point, it is known that Jesus Christ came. Okay, of course, I have discussed in other episodes how that really fits into the whole scheme. And you cannot look at the incredible human potential from the Christian point of view, of course, without knowing this, that it was at that vantage time that Jesus Christ came to the earth. For what reason? Because there is a very close relationship between social dynamics and spiritual dynamics. But what we Christians normally do is separate those two things, and it is wrong. Okay, it is wrong. There is a close-knit relationship between those things, and our role should be uniting these two things and understanding how we can remove the idea of war from social dynamics. And of course, sometimes we fail in doing these things. Of course, we know what is happening now in the Middle East and in Europe, okay, and in Africa. Still, we have not been able to remove the idea of war from social dynamics. And this is very important to understand the optimistic view of human life and happiness. You must be able to remove war, okay, from social development, social dynamics. And if you don't remove war from social dynamics, you will not be able to bring about a more optimistic view of human life and happiness. Okay? You will not be able to achieve the incredible human potential. That is why Armstrong wrote this book, to bring out this point from the Bible, in case those people reading it do not understand. And many of us read the Bible without understanding this. Okay, that is the role of Jesus Christ. So, human government continued to progress at this level. Okay? From the Roman Empire, we will see what happened after this.
Discover a transformative journey into the kingdom of heaven. Following the initial publication, the author dives deeper with two insightful follow-up books. Ever felt disconnected from God even in worship? Explore how God's unconventional ways can transform your life. How can you align with divine plans, avoiding distractions? Find answers in The Kingdom of Heaven on Earth, and The 3, Illuminating Christian Truths and Prophetic Practices. Unlock profound insights guiding you toward a deeper connection with God. Don't miss out. Dive into this enlightening exploration today. Click the link on the caption to get your copy.
Alright, the Roman civilization came and it had two parts. Pre-Jesus and post-Jesus. Okay? The post-Jesus Roman civilization was shared between the atheistic government and the Christian government. Okay? At a point, Christianity took over the Roman Empire and continued with the legacy of the Roman Empire. Okay? Many commentators have their own view of what really happened within this time. Christianity was a source of dousing the Roman Empire's thirst for blood, as I had said. Okay, in truth, the role of Christianity doused. When you read, there's a book called Civilization. Okay, name of the author is not at the top of my head; it just came into my mind. But he has written on this. He, through the eye of art, he was able to see how Christianity played the role of removing the bloodthirstiness. And this is evidence. Many historians will tell you that that is true. Okay, the bloodthirstiness of the pagan empires. Okay, because they believed that you could not do anything except through war. Christianity was able to play a dowsing role, the bloodthirsty nature of human civilizations, of the pre-Christian human civilizations. And so this goes to emphasize what I was saying, okay, that this is the role, this is the importance of faith, this is the importance of Jesus Christ. And remember what Jesus Christ did. He died, he gave away his power and sacrificed himself, even as God himself. Okay, and even after he was said to have resurrected, he refused to take power by force. Okay, instead, among human beings. Okay, he did that, of course, in the spiritual realm, but among human beings, he refused to take power by force, and that is why he had to die physically in front of them. Okay. So this was important, and so Christianity actually plays that role of dousing the bloodthirsty nature of human civilization. And this happened for a few hundred years, and of course later on that ideal was lost, okay, through the tyranny of the absoluteness of power, okay. And of course, but this important event was a defining time for human beings, in that this now catalyzed the speedy development of human civilization. Remember, it was set in a mold of the Greek philosophers' advanced thinking model. The Greek philosophy was a confluence of the Jewish and the European philosophy of life. And these philosophies took over the Middle Eastern philosophy, and so there was a great mix of worldwide philosophies. All civilizations of the world were merged within this civilization that gave birth to the Roman Empire. And so it was so important, and you will see it in the book The Kingdom of Heaven on Earth. I was able to really bring this out. So buy that book and you will see. Of course, the incredible human potential is good, but this is my own modern understanding, and I was able to bring out these things for everybody to see in pictorial form. Okay, these civilizations came together, and that was the staging ground for Christ to bring himself into the picture and play that role he was supposed to play. Okay, so it was time for technology now to have the desired effect, and it did. And this paved the way after the fall of the Roman Empire, paved the way for the rise of the British Empire, and it paved the way for the rise of Islam, of the Islamic empires, okay, and other European empires. And from there, there was no stopping the human race. So understanding this is very important. Whatever you think about Jesus Christ, whatever you think about Christians, if you don't understand this, you will not understand the destiny, the final destiny of human beings, and whether human civilization has an optimistic end or not. Okay? So you must understand the role of Jesus Christ, okay, in all this. Forget your Christian bias. Don't rush to church and start celebrating yet. It is not yet done. It is not yet done. It is done with Jesus Christ, but not yet done for us. Okay? We are in a period of training. We all must understand this. We all must listen to the prophets and apostles he sends our way, so that we understand what he really did. Okay? So his role is very important. So human civilization was on a fast track, right to the point of the Industrial Revolution. Okay? And from the Industrial Revolution, of course, there was no stopping us. Okay? Now we are at a point where human civilization is, many may even think, overconfident. Now the issue at stake is another very important issue. The point where the Renaissance took place. Okay? This is another point. Arguably, the Renaissance, like many scholars will rightly point out, okay, the Renaissance was before Jesus Christ. Very true. Very true. Very true. But why was it delayed? Because a Renaissance was built on the back of bloodshed. Okay? Mass human genocide. Before that, and before Jesus Christ. Okay? And who were the fathers of Renaissance? Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. Okay? These all preached non-violence. They preached all those things. But were they listening to? Socrates was killed. Okay? In their own view, for corrupting youth. Can you imagine that? So this is the issue. Of course, maybe he did one or two things that did not resonate with their culture. But that was what he was prosecuted for corrupting youth. Okay? So the role of Jesus Christ is very important. The Renaissance, the Enlightenment was delayed so that Jesus will come first, do his work. But if you don't see it like that, of course, because you're an atheist. But when you look at the bigger picture, when you just forget your bias and you include the guy, okay, the Jesus guy, you would really see it from another perspective. Okay, he came to help those guys, Socrates, Plato, to remove that bloodthirsty nature of human beings. Okay, and that was his role there. So the Renaissance returned, the Enlightenment returned, and that was in the Renaissance. Okay, and in the Renaissance, of course, there was the debate between science and religion. Okay, and popular figures were people like Galileo, okay, of course, preceded by Pythagoras and the rest. Okay, so this is the issue. Okay, so now it was time for human beings to advance. Okay, human beings to advance to the next level, and that brought about the quick growth of science and technology, even in medicine. Okay, and you know the roots that medicine has in religion. Okay, you can go to Dr. Sledge for that. He talks a lot about that. So this is the issue, alchemy and all that. So human civilization developed at a faster pace. Okay, of course, war did not stop. War continued, okay, by the various empires. The wars between the Islamic empires, caliphates, and the Western empires, Christian empires. Yes, the Crusades. And of course, the colonization thirst of empires like the German Empire, the British Empire, the French Empire, and all that. The wars in Russia, the discovery of the Asian empires, the ancient empires. So all these things came together again. Okay, the world was again united as a global village. Okay, and this has led to what we have today, globalization. It has led to globalization. Now, where are we going from here? We'll continue after this. Alright, now we have a global village, and that is where some of the arguments come from as to the interpretation of Revelation. Okay, the cosmic drama talks about all these things, interpretations of the book of Revelation. What is the end? Many people see technology as a sign that the end is coming. Okay, the prophesied end as a religion. Well, of course, the atheists would say, forget about all that religious thing. You know, if an asteroid doesn't come and hit the Earth, or some great climate catastrophe, which the Bible talks about, of course, we're going to keep on living. Okay, so there's very little difference in the views. Okay, so the cosmic drama talks about the expectation of the end of the world. Okay, so where are we going with all this? Okay, where are we going with all this? The global village has been actualized again, as different from the Babel, as different from the Roman Empire. Okay, now we have another global village. Okay, and there is a conflict. Where do we go from here? In the episode I talked about science and religion. Is scientific fact exclusive? There is a series on that, about 3 video series on that. I talked about this. Where do we go from there? And the things at stake are economics, okay, peace and security, okay, and other issues, as we talked about in the last episode. But very important is the concept of economics. And like we talked about in the last episode, even the allusion to the 666, the evil world government, okay, is all about economics. It's all about economics. For the love of wealth and financial security, some people will be alienated from the world's economic system. There won't be any financial inclusion. We are facing it, though a lot of us are forced to be silent. People cannot talk about it in the open. If you talk about it, you will be cancelled, as it were. But people are being cancelled, are not being included financially, okay, in this system. And of course, that is what is being forecasted at the end of it all, okay? And so, at the end of it, what is the solution to these problems, economic problems? And we see that the space race has a very important role to play. The space race has a very important role to play. And it is something that Herbert Armstrong has brought about. He didn't talk about it in detail here, but he has he has spoken a lot about it. The space race. And he claims that there was a civilization before us, and their role was to populate the planets, okay, to fix the planets. As he said in Genesis chapter 2, God put human beings in the garden to tend it. Okay, that same idea. Okay, they were to populate themselves on the planets, but their civilization fell. And why did it fall? Because it rebelled against the creator of the universe. Okay, and of course that same idea is proliferated by McElroy in her interpretation or translation of what she said she heard from an unknown source, an alien source, as it were. Okay, that same idea is proliferated there. Okay, so that civilization fell, and God had to destroy it and start a new human civilization, and that is where the Bible starts from. Okay, so this is the idea that Armstrong proliferates, and he says that space is important. Okay, he doesn't go, of course, deeply into that, but what I am able to glean from that is that space is important. We have come to the point where a prophecy in the Bible has been fulfilled. In Isaiah chapter 2, the nations will beat their swords to plowshares. Okay, and of course we see a similar, something that looks like it in Revelation 21. Okay, down to 22. Okay, that something close, not like Earth, but Earth will manifest at the end of time. That looks a lot like Mars. Okay, so space race is very important in the economy. Okay, to boost the human economy that is already suffering from exhaustion. Now, these are ideas that are not hidden ideas. They're very, very open ideas. Okay, when you watch the film the Avengers, of course. The idea that Thanos wants to wipe out half the world population so that the rest will live in peace and prosperity, that is where it is coming from. Human civilization at this point is almost reaching exhaustion. And not because that it has consumed all the resources on the earth, but because most of human beings are not properly educated. Like I have often pointed out. The reason for this, I mean, there's so much knowledge in the world, but the reason for this lack of education is the lapse in spiritual education. Okay, spiritual maturity. Okay, you can be a doctor, a professor, but if you lack spiritual maturity, of course, you'll be that guy that may turn everything on its head. I don't know how that happens, but we see it every day. Okay, strange ideas. Okay, and so this is what is happening. Human civilization is getting to the point of exhaustion because the economy has to move from where it is right now. It has to discover a new path. Of course, we thought it was the internet, but the internet is showing its weakness right now. Okay, and of course, the mining sector has been the backbone of modern civilization for centuries and is being exhausted. People are complaining because it's causing climate change. Okay, so the only solution, is the space race, and with that will come the ability to protect the environment. Okay, we know that the satellites out there are able to forecast the weather and the climate, and they give us very good information. And of course, the climate of Earth is controlled from out there. Okay, so with that technology and the technology to be able to explore the stars, human beings will improve life on Earth. At least it is hoped that is what is going to happen. But I believe and I see a very, very great possibility here. But it will not be possible without the transformation of the mind of those individuals and governments that are able to do this. Okay? With war, this cannot be done. Russia and the United States are partnering in space. But with war, you know, they can't do this. Okay? And of course, the film Geostorm brings it out very clearly. If 17 nations or more are able to come together to put in resources to work together towards this goal, imagine what can be achieved. Okay, it is said that the US only spends about 2 point something or 1 point something % of its budget on space, but see what it has achieved since 1950s. See what Russia has achieved. Okay, and so what if more nations? China is going far. What if these nations are able to come together? Okay, the fear is that they will go back into space and begin to fight one another again. And that is the great fear, and that is where the mind comes in. That is the role of Jesus Christ. That is the role of faith in Jesus Christ. Forget about religion. Okay, we're talking of one man here, and when you know that, you will understand his role. The God man. Okay, the God man, not any ordinary human being. The God man. Okay, we're not talking about one religion. We're talking about the God man, Jesus Christ. And wherever you are, know that He. Forget about that, but he wants you to give your life to Him. And the only way you can get that maturity you need, even after getting the PhDs and the degrees, is to come to see what He did, to accept what He did, and to accept Him for who He is, and to accept that He made Himself weak. Okay? And that is why He made you weak. If you find difficulty in accepting your weak nature, the weak nature of the creation, as it were, know that it is deliberate. Okay? Because you cannot be strong without making yourself weak. We see it every day in human civilization. Absolute power corrupts. Okay? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. So God made Himself weak in Jesus Christ. And that is why He made you weak, so that you can serve the purpose that you are made to be. What fun is there if you think about food and food appears? Okay, there's no fun. So he just made the world a little more fun. Okay, so something different. That world might exist somewhere, but this one is something is worth looking at. Okay, this is just the idea. If you are an atheist listening to me right there, just tap into this idea. Okay, and you will understand what the incredible human potential is all about. So I've talked about that, and I've talked about the how. Okay, Jesus Christ is the answer to fulfilling the incredible human potential. Technology is wonderful, it's great, it's a wonderful tool, and he put it there from the beginning of time, in the ark, where a big boat was created to save human beings, whether you think it's myth or not. Okay, and in everything he did for human beings, technology has always been a source of strength. And yes, it is still our source of the source of human strength. But we also need the moral strength, okay? The moral aptitude. Look at the world right now. We have so many gender squabbles. We have so many professional squabbles among professionals. And some people are beginning to buy into the idea of saving the scientists and the healthcare workers and those who are very highly educated, and then killing off the rest of the planet. Some people are buying into that. That is terrible. That is terrible. Okay? So let us look at it very closely. As if they did that, they would have rid themselves of that problem, the human condition. Okay? So the human condition is only solved through the solution that Jesus provides. Weakness. Even though you are strong, you deliberately weaken yourself for the other person. Okay? And the only way you can do that is by accepting that there is someone out there that is greater than you. No matter how weak he might look to you. Okay? The weakness is deliberate. I am David Dunji Chinke for you today in Searching the Heart.